Next, conservative comedian and host of the popular podcast Louder with Crowder, Steven Crowder. Please. Mr. Crowder, if you'd like to make your opening remarks.
Hey! Thank you. Let's hear it for UMass Republicans putting this on. Come on, let them know you love him. Let's hear it for Milo. Let him know you love him. Let's hear it for Miss Summers. Let her know you love her. Time to listen up, you silly liberal fruitcakes. I came out here, I wanted to tell some jokes. Let's do some reality checks here. Do you have any idea, sir, how pathetic it must be to be you? These people wanted to come out and have a good time, hear a few jokes, some thoughtful discussion, but your head pops off the pillow in the morning with, oh, how can I be a professional victim today? Let me go in and screw with their act just because, oh my God, your parents didn't tell you that your opinion wasn't worth that much. Look, they're confused. You know why? Because I'm not your gender studies professor who has to cater to your trigger warning, microaggression, safe space bullshit. I didn't want to do this. I wanted to come out and tell a few jokes. You created this monster. We have to go. 10 more minutes of this. Let this reverberate. Let it be a life lesson. This monster right here that you're so afraid of, the face you see in your nightmares, was created by social justice warrior assholes like you. And now you have this wonderful faggot. That's what happens. We okay? We good? Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Darling, you can call me what you like.
Oh, okay, there we go. Crying out loud, listen. Nobody here wants to hear your opinion that much. And here's what's so crazy. You couldn't wait 5 minutes. Unlike leftists, we have an open panel and a Q&A session because we want an open idea. Oh, I'm a racist. There you go. That's a new one. Where'd you learn that one in Social Human Studies 101? Right next to the giant, I don't know, wild boar I couldn't see who said, there's no such thing as fat chicks. Guess what? If you think there aren't, you are one, okay? Did he just make a fat joke? Yeah, I did. And no, it's okay, because I got some here, so screw you. I have a faggot pass and a fat pass today. We wanted to come out here and tell a few jokes. We wanted to have a thoughtful discussion. We want an open conversation of ideas. You guys can't be grown adults enough to literally wait 10 minutes to the point where we open the floor. And unlike leftists, guess what? We don't try and ban you when your speakers come to school. We don't show up and protest and call them, oh, shut up, you just got owned and now you're trying to come back 5 minutes later. It's like George... The jerk store, Carl, they're running out of you, George Costanza, you androgynous little amoeba. And by the way, these opinions you're yelling out, they're not even your opinions. They're your opinions from your gender studies professor, and the really reason you picked it was because you thought it was your best chance at getting laid. You just decided to walk on in to try and pick up chicks at the San Francisco retread pot-smoking drum circle, only to realize that your very glance in the direction of a woman causes a barren womb. Oh, you think this is going to get better? No. Is he going to check his privilege? That's not going to happen. I don't want to come out here and give someone the finger, but it's because he walked out and this chick is start a show like that. This is absurd. At least when you go back to like Christina Hoff Sommers' days, self-professed Democrats, hippies, the retreads that you guys want to be, at least they thought they were fighting the system. They thought they were trying to create transparency. They really thought they were for free speech. You people are openly and completely against it. You're not fighting for free speech. You're not fighting for rights. You're fighting for the right to be a pussy and not hear opinions that you don't like. All right, I'm done. Oh. If you only take one piece of advice from this, okay? Please, sincerely, don't be an asshole your whole life.
All right. At this point, we'd like to move into the discussion portion. So, as we stated earlier.
Did you?
What? Yeah, oh, I want to go? Yeah, okay. You want to know what political correctness is? If you actually research the history of political correctness, it was designed as a political tool to silence voices of dissent, as you see here tonight, with people simply yelling out racist, homophobic, transphobic. Good example of political correctness trying to silence dissent. Listen, whether you like him or not, Dr. Ben Carson is a black man who's one of the most prolific neurosurgeons of all time. Oh, shut up. Shut up. I feel bad because I thought I was insulting.
Please simmer down in the middle.
Might be a chick.
Excuse me. Could you please simmer down? Thank you.
If they're going to attack Dr. Ben Carson, for example, as an idiot, racist bigot, a black neurosurgeon who was raised to a single mom in Detroit, okay? He wasn't Barack Obama. He was playing for the full-on black A team. He played pro. They're going to do it to everybody. So you know what, at this point, just keep the cameras running. These people don't want to hear any differing opinions. That's what political correctness is. You want to know what political correctness is? Look around and listen. These people don't have arguments. They just yell out racist, and they call the gay guy here who has a fetish for black dudes a racist homophobe.
Just moving on here.
I got to tell you.
Sorry, I hope I wasn't revealing anything there.
I don't know why Black Lives Matter even.
All right. A couple of things. Right, okay, a couple of things here. All right, we get it. You're angry. Daddy never hugged you enough. Come on. Let me give you an example right here, okay? Right now. This girl right here just yelled out that we were all racist. What? You just said you're not a girl? Do I try to use Z, the gender neutral? What's up? Yeah, what's up? You just yelled out that all of us were racist. And then you asked a question. And the question was? There you go. It sounded better when you were yelling it with a chorus of backdrops. Let me explain. Okay, can I answer your question? Do you want an answer? Would you like an answer? Here's what's... No, you don't know the answer, sweetheart. Let me answer it for you. Listen, you have... Right here on this panel, you have a gay British Trump supporter, okay? You have a lifelong registered Democrat, open feminist, who's not a third-wave feminist, and you have a French-Canadian Christian conservative. So you may ask, why is there only white people? Because the only diversity you don't care about is that of intellectual diversity.
Right. Yes.
Please be seated.
One second.
Please be seated. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Please take a seat. Please take a seat until the discussion is over. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the applause. You can continue doing that to drown them out if you need to. The final thing I want to say, come on, please zip it, okay, for a second. Listen, you spoke, I gave you the right to have a question, and now let me finish answering. No, you don't. You don't have the right without me giving it to you.
You don't have the right.
Excuse me.
Let me finish the point. Okay, let me finish the point. These people who are yelling out, the reason they are so angry, the reason they are so incapable of hearing this is because, unlike you, the people who are conservative, intellectual thinkers, you've heard all of their opinions before, from every single mainstream news outlet, from every single film that's been made in the last 20 years, from every single professor. This is the first time they're hearing these points of view. That should be a stark contrast and tell you who's thinking for themselves.
I want to come back on something. Let me...
1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted on college campuses. Correct.
Wait, people believe that? 1 in 5? Listen, that's a number that we throw out there. Are we talking 1 in 5 like Lena Dunham, who had regretful sex? All right? Are we talking 1 in 5 like Columbia Mattress Girl or Virginia? Are we talking Rolling Stone article? Almost every time that's... Listen, here's the reality. No man, no self-respecting man, except for single digits of a percentage point in population Earth, condone or like rape, okay? We didn't have a secret meeting behind your back, okay? There wasn't some secret patriarchy meeting on Tuesday, just like we didn't have some secret meeting to set some unrealistic standards of beauty, like, hey, what's the really screw with them? We don't even like boobs and butts, okay? So this idea to tar and feather, you know what, we want to talk about that. We want to talk about sexual assault, people saying there's rape culture on campus. Well, obviously, we can point out I'm sure you'll point out the obvious in the Middle East and the real rape culture with Islam in any Islamic country. Good luck finding your 4 witnesses in a Sharia court. But you know what? You want to talk about the deck stacked against you? That's not an actual statistic. Boys don't do well in grade school through high school until they finally have the opportunity to study for the SATs, in which case they blow women out of the water. Why? Because we have developed an educational system in this country that caters to women. Boys don't learn by sitting and watching a chalkboard and hearing things verbally. They learn hands-on. We've rigged the deck against young boys, and they're more confused and angry than ever. And people coming out and implying that all of these boys are somehow racist or sexist or perpetuating rape culture, you are going to screw up men for generations to come. And this androgynous, spineless amoeba here who wants to get with the social justice warrior drum circle, listen, I'm not talking about some false sense of machismo. Why don't we start off by talking about families, by talking about getting married and staying with your wife, by talking about how to raise your kids properly. Let's teach young boys to be men, but oh no, we can't do that. That'd be a moral judgment. You want to fix whatever the actual rape statistic is, and it's not 1 in 5, you need to start getting judgmental and teach young boys how to become men, but you don't want to do that because it's judgmental.
Ms. Hofstadter, would you like to comment?
Compassion.
One irony here. Okay, listen. Social justice leftists here. Okay, let's just point out an irony. The only people right now who are trying to intimidate and silence and threaten a woman here are you.
But I just wanted to add, you interrupted a woman. He asked me a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was silenced.
Was I mansplaining?
You
Silencing
mansplained.
you? It's probably queer-splaining, isn't it?
Gay-splained.
Actually, wait. Do I beat
In a good
you?
way.
Do I beat you? Because you're a Jewish woman.
Of a
I'm
certain age.
gay Jew.
The shoulder.
I think you're confusing geography. You only beat her if she puts on the hijab. Oh, you write that up in your newspaper. Shock writings. You know, it's
Weaponized
funny. I
talk.
actually tweeted out a picture. There was one that said, "Words hurt. Words hurt. Safe space is necessary." And I'm not kidding. It was written by the one registered sex offender on the block with a Bernie sign. It's true. Go on Twitter. It's absolutely true. I don't know. I don't think leftists have an understanding of the First Amendment nor the Second Amendment. I was on Russia Today one time, and they were asking about the Second Amendment because you bring that up. And I said, well, why is the Second Amendment so important? You're like, why do you think the right to own a gun is like as important as free speech? I said, because it's literally right up there with the right to freedom of speech. That's number one. It's protected by number two. As far as the chalk writing, I don't know. It's silly. And if you're a grown adult who gets offended by someone putting something in chalk, you probably have no business being in the workforce or college.
Okay, moving on to our next question. If you'd like.
Where some of my friends got beat up, where people got threatened over the Stop Islam. And so I'm wondering where you guys think that opinions turn into hate speech and where that line should be drawn.
Well, your Muslim friends got beaten up because of chalk?
Amazingly, one of my friends who's not even Muslim was defined as Muslim because he dressed a certain way, and he's changed the way he dresses now.
Well, listen, nobody would ever condone beating somebody up because they dress a certain way. By the way, sometimes when I say stuff, it's a joke, okay? We used to be able to make those. Listen, if people want to talk about stopping rape culture, in the time you just took to ask that question, there were probably a dozen women who were raped in the name of Islam in the Middle East right then. And there were tons of people killed. So listen, no one is condoning violence against Islam. Obviously it's a silly litmus test as far as Donald Trump saying ban all Muslims, and it makes it hard for people like me who argue against the ideology of Islam. I think if you want to learn about the ideology of Islam, open the Quran, read 5 pages in any direction, and you will be... Yeah, we've had Muslims on my show many times. Guess what? I didn't like what they had to say. Okay? No, it's not my problem. It's my opinion. I don't like it. I didn't speak on your behalf. I talked about the Quran. Guess what? I wasn't there for the French Revolution. I can talk about it.
Everybody has a right.
And let me
If
let
people
me
are
add.
beating up Muslims, that's bad. The ideology of Islam has been bad for the last several decades, and it's not hate speech to say so. It's not racist. It's an ideology in a prescribed form of religion and law, and I don't like it.
Like any other set of ideas, Islam is a set of ideas, and like any other set of ideas.
Moving on to our next question here.
When does free speech become hate speech is the basic question, right? Yeah, that's a silly question. Hate speech is a figment of your imagination. If someone says something you don't like, you don't get to label it hate speech. That's it. No, call to action is not allowed. If I say, hey, I'm going to punch you in the face, and I do it, that's not speech. That's an action. If someone says, gosh, I really don't like your face, and it would be nice if it were punched, but I would never do it, is very different. People should be able to say what they want. If you don't like it, walk out, change the channel. We don't believe in hate speech. We answered your question. Leave. Who was beat up because of what I said? Your friend was beat up because of something that I said? That's what we call being unable to substantiate an argument, Mr. Tank Top. Get out.
We have to move on to other questions. We'll take
Shame on
our
me,
next
right.
question here.
Shame on your delts. Put a shirt
Shame on your stylist, darling.
We'll take our next question right here.
All right, so
Please refrain from interruptions.
get in line. They will answer your question.
All right, so I wanted to start off.
Each
You know,
question.
it's a great example that Milo is drawing here, and he talked about people saying racist or homophobic things. Let me ask people in the audience, if you had the ability to travel back in time and stop someone like Hitler, right? Everyone here would do it, left or right. I'm giving, of course, everyone the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because he was racist. He wanted to execute gays. Well, Che Guevara as well, but you put him on a T-shirt. The point is, he was a person who everyone agrees is a vile, horrific human being. Listen, nobody here has espoused anything along those lines tonight. Not even close. But I tell you what, you want to talk about violence? If you call someone racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, call them a hate monger, and you make them out to be subhuman, it's okay to treat conservatives inhumanely. And that's your problem right there. You want to talk about who's treating who violently? When you paint someone as bad as Hitler fascist, well, guess what? You have what happened at Milo's tour. So maybe take a look in the mirror.
Next question.
Question is for Steven. On campus, we have this group called Divest the Rest, and its goal is to get UMass out of the oil and natural gas industry. And so I've attended many of the protests just to humor myself. And so during those protests, they call for the union of themselves with Black Lives Matter, with feminists, with $15 wage gap. So what is your perspective on the fact that these groups that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, why do they band together?
Well, it's strength in numbers, ironically, with a bunch of people who have no fundamental understanding of economics wanting to decide how an entire industry is run. Also, double secret irony, these people show up with the horn-rimmed glasses that come to you courtesy of petroleum while they bitch about smart cars. So I think it's silly, and these people don't understand economics.
The problem with the modern women to cover up. They want all sorts of things that look very similar. Radical feminism of today and Islamism don't look that different. They all hate the West.
Well, think about it. Just here we had feminists and we had people who were angry about Muslim clapping if they heard that you were banned on campus. It's no different than book burning. These people are claiming that we're racist fascists, and they're clapping when someone isn't even allowed to speak, and they think somehow it's altruistic. So, of course, these people have no priorities as it relates to free speech.
And
It's just a hierarchy. Okay, black people here, gay people here, but not Milo. Let's move him over here. And then Islam, and then, I don't know, transsexual bathrooms. There's no principle to it. So every day it's about
just
who's the worst
look at
victim.
the unholy alliance between people different about this.
One final thing, because I do appreciate taking the question. It'd be two phrases. Listen, my problem is not, of course, there are plenty of great Muslims out there. Not every Muslim is a terrorist. It's important to note that. Muhammad was. And I have a problem with that. If you look and read about Muhammad's life, he called for the death of Christians and Jews. I have a problem with that. And you know what? That's okay. Just like atheists have a problem with Christianity.
At this point, we'll conclude our question and answer section. One final round of applause for our speakers. Thank you. That's all we have for you tonight. If you would like to stick around, if you would like to stick around.